everyone, and welcome to the Clicks Gamescast. This is the start of something new, potentially. The beginning of... It's thematic because the thumbnail for the episode is what's old is new, because of the topics of the games we're talking about, stories and headlines. But, Kevin, for those that might not know, you and I did this show together, or a version of this show together, live for quite a while.
Yes, we did.
That was an era.
It was an era. We had many eras of many different podcasts, so yeah. It's nice. There's levels to it, but here we are. We back. No more of the this probably happened by the time you guys are watching this, or it's today.
Mm-hmm.
It's today. It's live.
Yes.
Very nice. Very nice. How are you, good sir?
I'm good. We've had a little bit of time off. I wish I could tell you that I've been playing all these games, all these indie games that I wanted to get to, but
I wish I could too. Tell you what, I wish I could too.
Most of my free time, unfortunately, has been replaying one of my favorite games of all time, Red Dead Redemption 2. So I don't really feel that bad about it, but a lot of the other time has been prepping the show to be a live show again. So we got new intro, got new graphics. We have a B-roll screen. The live chat seeing this right now. But keeping that, whoops, I keep forgetting this too. Every time I transition from the live screen or the live footage B-roll back to the main cams, I got to make sure I shut off the intro video and the intro audio because they're two separate sources.
I see. I feel you. Hey, complete side note, not games related. Did you see that there's a new OBS update that's supposed to work like really well with Mac apparently?
I did not.
I know, bro. I know. There's hoops and hurdles to get through to the beta. Like you have to go into the Mac terminal and like update kernels. I'm not trying to do that, but yeah, I am patiently waiting for that to pull up because I definitely need that. You know what I'm saying? Definitely need that. And it's supposed to run a lot better on Mac, allegedly.
So is it gonna allow Elgato to have drivers for Mac now or no?
Yo, there was something about, I think there is something about that actually on there. Wait, but you can't use your Elgato. Wait, how do I do it?
Do you use the game capture software from Elgato, or do you do a OBS like window capture of the game capture?
No.
Thing?
I think my HD60S Plus is able to connect just to OBS. That's I've been doing it for a while now, actually.
Huh. Well, to be fair, I haven't tried it since I got the Mac. I haven't tried streaming like through Elgato off of it, but maybe they worked it out. I don't know.
Yeah, so maybe, but I just want it to run better.
For sure. And speaking of running better, keep in mind this is the first version of this live show, so things will change. Segments may come and go. If regulars start popping into the chat, maybe we implement a chat system or a chat segment in the show. But funny you said the whole like this is happening, this is today. We do have a time capsule this week because of something that's happening later, so I guess it's more of a we'll talk about it in the next episode sort of thing. But before we get to any of that, quick patch notes for you. I just realized I can probably bring back the patch notes music. I'll do that for next episode.
Oh yeah, we used to have that. I forgot about that. Oh, I'm looking at the shot now. I like how
Thank you.
We look so professional. Look at us. It's like we're on ESPN. Look at this.
Man. I know, right? I know. I gotta make custom transition graphics, but
yes, sir.
Those are things for another day. Patch notes for this week. Not really much because we didn't have a show last week, or I don't think the week before, but I figured this would be a good place to do it since we're talking so much housekeeping stuff at the beginning. Not really like correction or we missed this, but today is officially in the United States the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. So happy birthday to an all-timer. Not in the Hall of Game yet, but
you wait. Yeah. You wait. Trust. You wait. It's all good. We're gonna figure that out. But my favorite game of all time, my lucky number, right? I might, you know what? Tonight after work, I might have to just run that bombing mission, that first bombing mission. You know what I'm saying? Why not?
Now
we'll run it back for the culture.
Do you do you sort of consider OG7 or 7 Remake or just like the compendium as a whole as your favorite?
Yeah, I think I'll cheat and say Compendium as a whole, but like if I'm gonna go one game, it's probably more. If I'm being more honest with myself, it's probably Remake, right,
Hmm.
as a whole, right. But like, I just love the overall story and what Final Fantasy VII is as a whole, right, and
Sure.
like, and that includes, Advent Children, that includes Crisis Core, that even includes Georgia Cerberus. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you gotta take the good with the bad with any IP. So yeah, just overall, FF7. Yeah, definitely,
Very nice.
definitely.
I saw Kitase put out a video. I didn't get to watch the whole thing because it was literally like as I was setting up to do this, but I didn't imagine there was going to be any major news drops for the anniversary or any teases or anything like that. But I know TGS is coming up, which we'll probably have more to talk about in the coming weeks as TGS begins. But that's just sort of a fun little nod. Happy birthday, FF7. The US anniversary of Kingdom Hearts 1, I think, is going to be in a few weeks. So, once again, not going to expect any news then, but if you listen on for a little time capsule later, we might be talking about some news for something else Kingdom Hearts related. But before all of that, Kevin, let's talk about the games we have been playing, despite the fact that they're not many. Um, there's one new one I did get some time with that I texted you about in our group chat, and I will give general thoughts on it because I only probably put like 2 hours in. Um, and it's a game we were both looking forward to. It's a game that I think has an incredible style to it, but I don't know if I'm going to see it through to the end, and that is Midnight Fight Express, the top-down brawler beat 'em up. One person created this,
Yep,
worked on Destiny, worked on God of War. Um,
yep.
I know you were curious about it. I
I
know you
am.
haven't gotten
This is
around to it, but you're still thinking about it, right?
Yeah, definitely after part one, September is pretty much open. So this
Mhm.
is where I'm gonna cover um Midnight Fight Express and Cult of the Lamb as well. Gonna get into those and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, tell me about Midnight Fight and why you might not finish it.
So I think it's good. I think it's good for what it is going for, right? It's like a very classic, campy, Streets of Rage style. Hey, the gangs took over the city. You're the one person who can roll through there, beat them all up with your fists, solve it with violence, and then you're gonna see it through to the end. And they're also weaving in this sort of story. I guess like your character has amnesia, and you may have or may have not been like a sleeper cell for one of the criminal bosses that takes control of the city. I haven't gotten far enough to like see the truth behind that, but before every mission, it shows you your character who you can customize after the first mission, with different looks, like skin tones, hairstyles, costumes, all that stuff. Um, it shows you in a room with like a good cop, bad cop, sort of being like, "Do we believe you? Are you actually absolved of all these things, or are you going to end up in a cell at the end of this interrogation?" And like they're feeding that along, and it's framed in a way where the interrogation is you recounting everything that happened that night as a character, but you're playing through it as a player. So framing's interesting. It's not something I haven't seen before because Persona 5 does that. But it's a solid beat 'em up, and it feels a lot better when you get the dodge. Like I was doing
Yeah.
the first two missions,
Okay.
and I was like, okay, this is good. The music is great. The visuals are cool, but like it feels
Yes,
fine.
sir.
And then you get a
Yes,
dodge,
sir.
and I'm like, oh, okay, no, this is a good. This is good now. So, um,
Yeah, like I've been hearing it's like Sifu Hotline Miami type of vibe.
yeah,
Like if you emit like if you mesh those together. So
mhm,
uh definitely up my alley for sure, for sure. And
yeah,
do you and it I've also I know like you haven't beaten it, but like I've heard it's like not a crazy long game either. So I've heard. So
yeah. I'm not sure. Like it says, I haven't looked up at how long to beat on this. I can't imagine it's more than like 5 hours, but I think there's like 40 story missions,
mm,
and I only got through 3 or 4 in my 2 hours. And I was playing on normal, and then I bumped it up to hard because I was like, I'm just like tearing through these dudes. Um, and it didn't really change that significantly for me. And it's not like there's a bunch of stuff to explore in the level. Like there's not really many secrets. There are item pickups that will drop from enemies. Like you can, I think it's random. You can knock out like a gold tooth out of an enemy, and you can pick that up as a collectible to like um, unlock other things. There's challenges you can do. There's star rankings. There's optional objectives for everything. So structurally, there's a lot to like see in there, but it's very much a case of like you get out what you put into it. And I think if I do want to see it to the end, I'm not gonna like dance around with any of the other frills because it's just like it's a solid beat 'em up. But I played Turtles earlier this year. I finished that in 2 hours, and that was like all killer, no filler. So like, not necessarily hungry for that. And I still haven't played Sifu, which I know, like you said, has a lot of acclaim. You really loved it, but
Indeed. Indeed.
yeah, I'll probably play a little bit more, but I don't know how much more beyond that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I see. I see. I see. I'll definitely get around to it, and I'm probably dedicated on just beating the game, unless I don't like it.
Mhm.
But I imagine I won't not like it.
Yeah.
So
And as far as the story element goes, like there's the framing of that, and then you have like your little drone buddy that like is the person who's like, hey, you're in danger because you might have a shady past. I'm gonna help you be a good person by beating up all these criminal underlords. Um, there's a lot of like text dialogue that it throws out at you as you're playing through the mission. I'm not reading any of it. Like it's just like I'm trying to focus on not getting hit, not getting killed, keeping my combos, and I don't really have much interest in like the quips it's throwing out because it's not voiced, which again, small independent thing, one person. So it's solid, it's good. I probably feels like it's a mid 7, low 8 at the moment, and I'll see if I feel differently once I beat it. But I think it's for sure something you're gonna love because the music and when the music kicks in and the way they like
yes, sir.
implement it into
Yeah.
like when people see you and then a track drops and they show like the little track that's about to play in the bottom left hand of the screen, it's like okay, it feels like an action movie set piece is like beginning, and that I think is the coolest thing the game has going for it. So that's Midnight Fight. I did want to get
Stuff.
to Tinykin and Disney Dream Valley Animal Crossing, but I have not had a chance to check those out yet. But um, that's the new release.
Oh, what is that Disney game on again?
So there's a
Do you know
founders
what
pack.
platforms?
There's a founders pack you can
Okay.
get, but the founders pack is also available on Game Pass. And when the game officially launches, it's going to be free to play.
But like which platforms? Like
Everything.
okay, everything. Okay. Got it.
I believe the founders pack is available on everything right now. So if you wanted to drop money on it on PlayStation or PC, you could.
Yeah.
Um, actually, I don't know if it's on PC Game Pass. I assume it is, but I know for sure it's on
Yeah.
console Game Pass.
I won't, but my girl is definitely interested when I told her about this game. So yeah, okay, I'll have to keep her plugged in. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. I also
Let her know what's good.
I want to check out that FMV game. I don't know anything about it. Have you seen anything? It's called
Was
Immortality, I think.
was that the one that Blessing was talking about?
Probably.
I think.
I saw Jason Schreier be like, "This is like top two for me for the year," because apparently there's some like wild twist in it.
Interesting.
Like
Interesting.
I went to download it on my Xbox, and I was like, "Oh, I'll download Disney because that's like 8 gigs, and I'll download this because it's probably like a gig," and it was 26 gigs. So like
Damn.
I don't know if it's just like uncompressed footage for like a lot of different paths or anything, but I know nothing about this, but I definitely want to play it. So,
Yeah.
um, that's all there is for the new stuff. You have spent some time this summer seeing through the adventures of Commander Shepard and the Normandy
Indeed.
crew. You've wrapped it up with Mass Effect 3. Is it the worst AAA game of the 2010s like people act like it is? Early
You
2010s?
know, as I sit on it more, as I sit on it more, I can at least understand where y'all were coming from, right? And like I get it, but like at the end of the day, it's like logistically, right? Like how would that even be a thing? Like you can't have I mean, I know there's games that do it, but like they don't do it particularly well, right? Where like they have X amount of permutations for the ending, right? So and as a whole, I'm still on the side of like, although I see more and more as I step away from my Mass Effect 3 ending and what I did, right? I see also more so bottom line that like, hey, what was coming was inevitable. And it was told to us many times throughout Mass Effect 3 that like, yo, you might not pull this off.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a long shot, you know? And like
Yeah.
that's just how it is. And like, it's and I think it's almost bold for them to be like, listen, you're not particularly gonna be the hero here, right? Like you're not particularly gonna be the like swoop savior. You're this heroic, majestic shepherd that saved the entire galaxy and like saved the day and no one died,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Because
And like that, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna throw in there too, like consider BioWare at the time, Mass Effect 2, acclaimed as one of the best video games of all time. I would agree. Um, Spoilers for that game. How does that game end? For
Yeah, like
you, very depressingly,
it
So
was real bad.
like
Real bad.
if so much of what was loved about Mass Effect 2 was like, oh, the ending is super high stakes and like you can really get through that thing and you really won't feel good at the end. You might feel relief, but not great. They kind of did that again, but like you're ending a trilogy and that's a lot of pressure. And I could see maybe why like the celebration of the ending of 2 led to maybe not creating an ending of 3 that's like the universal good ending. It's like this one like you feel the best about, I guess, but they all kind of have their drawbacks, similar to Suicide
Definitely.
Mission.
Yeah, and like I was telling you privately that like I really do feel like what I think a lot of people that are probably or were mad at the ending for Mass Effect 3 like failed to I think see honestly was that like Mass Effect is about loss and how you deal with that. At least to me, that just spoke volumes to me of like, you know, I took I took grander and grander losses as the games progressed, right? Like way like yo, that's like one loss is some I was happy about. Ashley, you're racist. We don't like you. But you know what I'm saying? Like going from one to two, and then two, you saw me firsthand lose legitimately like straight up like over half of my crew. And I'm just dying. Right. And then with three, I took major losses that I'm not particularly proud of, Christian. We're gonna lay it out here. To undo it. But I was like, no, this is how it goes. This is how it is. I was trying to broker peace between the Quarians. No, is it the Quarians? The Geth and the what's the other species?
It is it's the
The
Geth.
ones with the hood. The Geth and the
Um,
what's that? I have to look it up. I can't. What's Tali? Yeah. Tali
oh,
and
I don't
Mass Effect.
remember her
What's
race.
her? I got it. I'm looking it up right now. Hold on, because I all messes up. Oh yes, they are Quarian. Okay, I was good. That was good. Yeah. So the Quarian built the Geth. There's this thing where the Geth become sentient. They want their independence. We learn about that in Mass Effect 3, a war that stretches decades and years and years. Go back and they're always at war. The Geth and the Quarians, and you actually fight the Geth in Mass Effect 1. That's the kind of like the main protagonist and all that. So I wanted both of them to assist me on this thing, right? And I did help Legion at the end of Mass Effect 2 free a portion of the Geth, right, from their evil coding from the Reaper, right? Um and the Quarians together still doing their thing. We need to help one side win them over so that they can help us they can help us with the Crucible to defeat the Reapers once and for all, right? I messed up, yo. Um, I thought that the Quarians understood that, yo, we're cool, right? But I'm gonna help the Geth just a little bit more so that we can be so that we can broker a peace agreement, right? That did not go as planned. The Geth ended up wiping the entire Quarian race, and Tali killed herself in front of me.
I don't even know what to say to that. I truthfully, and listen, I never beat Mass Effect 3. I got decently far. I did not know that was an option.
Yo, it was real bad. It
That's
was,
so
yeah, it
rough. Oh
was
my god.
that that was the worst thing that happened to me in this Mass Effect. The entire thing. Rex, I was cool with Rex, but we never really had like a real bond,
And it's the
like
first
how me
game.
and
It's the
Grunt
first
do.
game, you know.
Yeah, first game, like shit happens. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. But yo, losing Tali like that, because I never loved Tali, but Tali was a very valuable asset to me.
Mm.
Very, very, very valuable asset. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so that was a big L. But you know what? I pressed on, and like it was that moment that really like I felt fuck, man. Like this game is really about loss, right? And I feel like a lot of people like forgot that or like didn't get that the same way that I did with Mass Effect 3, right? And
Well,
like this is just how it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Kevin, I think
what's up?
part of it also is maybe we think about games differently now than we did then because
That's fair.
in
That's fair.
2012 it was a different crowd. It was a different crowd reviewing, talking about games on the internet, you know,
Absolutely.
and not
Absolutely.
to throw some shade or anything, but I feel like
Oh shit.
people who studied story and art and stuff like that might bring that a bit more consistently to criticism now, as opposed to, or at least more varied, you know, than it was in 2012. So,
Right.
um,
Right. Right. But yeah,
yeah.
but I mean, overall, like I think my favorite gameplay Mass Effect 3, that's not even like
Oh
really that
yeah.
hard to. I
Three
love
feels like a
the
good
I
shooter.
3 yeah, like I really love the gameplay. I love the upgrade systems as well. I love that you're able to, not be locked out of weapons because you pick a certain class. I love that as well. Like it definitely is a refinement of the previous two Mass Effects and just makes it just a whole lot better. And like it's definitely cream of the crop for sure.
Which one is your favorite? Do you know?
Oh, what's my favorite Mass Effect?
Instinct. What is it? Don't
There is
think.
something
Just
about
feel.
one. There is
Okay.
there is
Okay.
something about one that I actually like really like love like because I really do feel like one is like learning this brand new universe and like this brand new world and like I just love like how they introduced that to us. But
Yeah.
I'd say definitely 3 is my least favorite, but gameplay wise is my favorite. And then 2 is definitely in that sweet spot where like I do damn because I do love the premise of 2. They're all really great. Like
Hmm.
they're all really fan. Like this is one of those instances like where I talk about the J.J. Abrams Star Trek
Yeah.
one,
There's a
two, and
lot of
three
Mass Effect in there for
movies,
sure. Yeah.
where like those are like damn near perfect. Like fuck, like that's almost like a perfect trilogy to me. This I feel very much the same in, and this is upwards of my favorite sci-fi like I've ever experienced in my life.
Oh,
Like,
for sure. A lot of
just
people feel
like
that way.
bro, just like reading about like these different races and like what they've been through and like these different customs and all that and like how the Koreans live on these like massive fleets like that's such a cool like it's so cool like it's such cool sci-fi like it's so incredibly cool but I think there was something about one that I just really loved and just
Hmm.
like connected with and like this prospect of like hey we're the first human specter and we're the first like human representation in this galactic council right and like
Hmm.
we're the new guys in town right like I thought that was a really cool angle for it so there's definitely a charm to one but I really love them all honestly I do.
In the case of 3, though, I know you had one goal, um, that you vocalized at least. Were you able to leave things on good terms with Liara?
We um we we never had a chance to to really yeah so yeah you know we did have a moment before the last mission, right, where she took me to her consciousness again and
Hmm.
stuff like that. And I was hoping I could say some words to her there, you know what I'm saying? But It is what it is, man. It
So
is what it is, man. It
if
is what it
they
is.
if they say Mass Effect 4 somehow we're getting it to work, so if you played specifically the Legendary Edition, you'll be able to transfer those choices. Like I don't even know all the time that would take to consider, maybe just major beats, but if they said, "Hey, you can do a clean start with whatever like our in-head canon is for this universe, or um, we can read your save data," would you feel happy bringing your trilogy save data into four, or would you want to be like, let's just see like, because Tally's probably going to be in four. Let's just like see where she would have gone. Let me just do a fresh start because like if Shepard's coming back, maybe we can forget that some people died, or like, would you be inclined to lean into your story or a fresh start? I
Yeah,
guess.
I think I'd have to just keep it going on mine, right? But with like, I mean, two things. Liara's in the teaser, so that's good,
Yeah.
right? So there's still a hope
Mm-hmm.
that I can finally say what I gotta say after all this time.
Yeah.
We'll see, we'll
I,
see. But I know there's a thing with the ending that I chose the non-canon ending,
hmm.
and honestly, as I reflect on my ending, I know what my intent was, but honestly, I don't think I love it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's another thing too. So I decided to be the shepherd of the universe, right? And that may sound egotistical. That may sound like you literally talk shit this entire fucking two games to the elusive man for having the same idea. But he was in control of the Reapers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was very far gone, right? And at the end of my ending, when I assumed control of the Reapers and all that, um, I was helping repair the mass relays for the universe and such, and like I was doing good things, right? And like things that I would want to be accomplished as the leader of the Reapers, right?
Right.
But I see that the canon ending is the destroy ending, which definitely makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like to destroy the Reapers once and for all. But the way the game like tells you that, it's like, yo, you're gonna cause a lot of damage, you know? And it's like, well, shit, like you know, I don't want to do that either. Like I know we got to get rid of the Reapers, but like, how can we get rid of the Reapers and not cause that much damage? I figure, okay, let me just control them and let's just back the hell off.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and then only I die in that ending.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else pretty much lives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
So that's where my line of thinking was, but
I don't even know what direction they're gonna go with four, because I feel like if you bring back Shepard, like it's probably what the fans want, but like they also wanted them to redo the ending of three, and that kind of I feel like set a really poor precedent for relations between fandom, gaming communities, and publishers for expectations for a long time. Where like if we complain long enough, Kevin, think the Snyder Cut discourse and people. That's what the Mass Effect 3 thing was like. It was like you
bro,
have to redo this. You have to.
I w-
And they did because
I
they
wasn't
caved.
I wasn't even like I was still playing COD
Yeah.
back in that time. Like I was still a COD fanboy, not even looking at other games like in a serious way, right? And like I knew of the Mass Effect 3 stuff.
Yeah.
Like
It's
I
ridiculous.
heard y'all did not like that ending. Yeah, yeah. Um and I would like to also, to be fair, I would like to go back and see what the ending was. It's like OG ending and see how it differs from the legendary editions. Cause like, is it just that missing cutscene that plays at the end? Like, is that what it like when does the OG cut? Is what I really
So,
want to know.
from
You
what I
know?
remember, because I never played through to an ending, but from what I remember, because I saw the cutscene, it was you're in that room with the three choices.
Right.
You make your choice. Whatever cutscene is tied to that choice is your ending. And then the DLC they did, from what I remember, was I think it was like the Citadel DLC. Like they gave you an opportunity to go to the Citadel before the end of the game and like have some closure with your crew. They did that, and I think they added a cutscene with like the Normandy on some planet with like Joker and Garrus.
Oh, okay. So that's not in there.
Okay, that's I think the cutscene they
Oh,
added, and then the Citadel thing of like, hey,
interesting.
you have this opportunity to like have some final moments with your crew. I think that was the thing they did. I don't think they changed any of the three endings. They gave you bonus stuff that like made up for it. It was
Yeah,
like, oh, this makes it easier to swallow.
that adds context and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Huh.
So,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Now, obviously, I'm incredibly excited for Mass Effect 4 and like see what they do.
mhm,
100%. Like, I'm very much in. That's a day one. You know,
yeah.
a similar vein of like Metal Gear. Where like next Metal Gear, I'm fucking in this
Mhm.
time, and like I know what's going on. So I can't wait for that. But yeah, we'll see. Like, hopefully, Bioware is in a much better state. I would love more of the Bioware that created Mass Effect
Mhm.
versus the Bioware that we have now. That I mean, my only experience is really the worst case, which was Anthem. You
Which
know,
felt good to play. It had good feeling,
hell
momentum,
yeah, yo, gameplay was fire. Gameplay was fire, but
And
everything else,
I Andromeda's like a 7.5. Andromeda's not bad. I think it's like, or
fair,
like,
fair.
honestly, maybe it's even an 8. But I think it's the fact that like three, you have a trilogy that is like a 10, like cohesively, and then the next thing, which is basically starting over. It's not as good as like the trilogy was in its whole. Like, yes, there were bugs at launch. There were bugs. I never experienced any of the bugs. I think I had like a weird walking animation once, and like it would freeze when it was like in the open world. Sometimes like stutter to like load more of the area when I was in like the Humvee sort of vehicle. But story wise, it was interesting. They were setting up a cool mystery, and it was sort of this thing where it was like this crew was like shipped out to the Andromeda Galaxy like between Mass Effect 1 and 2, and then they were in like cryo for like so long.
Oh,
So like these people like don't know the state of the galaxy that Shepard went through. Like it's completely separate, which I thought was a cool setup. And they were teasing some very interesting things. It was like each each race they sent over was like in an arc, which was this giant ship full of people of their race to go like colonize the Andromeda Galaxy. And I think it was like the Asari arc or something was missing when they got there, and like that was they were setting that up to be like a DLC of like what happened to the Asari arc, and then
that sounds kind of gas. I ain't
people were
gonna
like
lie
it's
to you.
not Shepard, and then they stopped. Also, there were bugs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So one, as far as I'm aware, it's not 60 frames on PS5. So um, gonna patiently, hopefully, wait for some sort of patch. That probably won't happen, but we'll see, right?
Mhm.
But number two, 100%, if the marketing for Mass Effect 4 brings up elements of Andromeda that I need, I'll go back and play it.
Sure.
But for now, I think I'm cool with Andromeda.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, Mass Effect, great fucking series. Great series.
for sure, and I'm
Great series.
sure we will talk about Mass Effect much more in the future when 4 gets announced, when Dragon Age shows up, and we get a good sense of what the new BioWare crew is like. But in the meantime, there's been a lot of stuff going on, so it's time for You Might Have Missed It.
My miss what?
Don't waste your time talking about me. You prob already did. I missed you. A few things going on in the world of games. What's old is new is the theme of the show. Cyberpunk is back in the news this week, Kevin. Cyberpunk 2077. A game
Indeed.
that you showed interest in. Still intend to get to try, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you know, you know. We'll see. We'll see.
Well,
But yeah.
what's interesting, I think, about Cyberpunk this week in the news is CD Projekt Red did a stream talking about the new anime that's coming to Netflix. It's being made by Studio Trigger. We've heard about Cyberpunk Edgerunners for a while. Trigger did Neon Genesis Evangelion, Kill la Kill. They did a episode or two of Star Wars Visions, like the anime series from last year. And it's releasing on Netflix on September 13th, so it's like right around the corner. And as of yesterday, the 6th of September, they released an update for 2077 that added some like crossover stuff with the game. And I talked to two people I know who enjoy Cyberpunk. One, Owen, shout out, and my brother, Nick, who built a monster PC and really, really likes just walking around Night City. And from their perspectives, they both spent a lot of time in Cyberpunk, and I think they were in the best scenario to enjoy that game because of. I think Owen played it on next gen right when it launched. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what
yeah,
I was waiting on too for
mhm,
that PS5 version, and that's dropped for a while now. So
yeah.
I have the game. I
Mhm.
bought it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I have it.
And my brother also playing it on the nice PC. But the game is in a state now where in the stream, CD Projekt says this is like the game we intended it to be. Like this is like what our vision was for it. And while there's tons of think pieces out there being like it's still not the immersive sim, like the Deus Ex style game times 10 that people want it to be. People are still really enjoying it now. So much so that they're committing to an expansion, which they detailed. They show a trailer for. Um, it comes out in 2023. It is called Phantom Liberty, which, first off,
Yeah,
that's a great
goes
name.
hard.
That's a very good
Goes
name.
hard as fuck. Goes hard.
Did you get a
Definitely goes hard.
chance to see the trailer? Because it was very brief.
I was afraid that it would spoil something from Cyberpunk, so I chose to not watch anything about this. But
Fair.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so the teaser was, I think they said they're exploring an area of Night City that they haven't like fully fleshed out. So it's still within the city, but it's a new like district, I guess, um, where player character V is taking on this role of like the new United States government or something. Like they're being enlisted as an agent for some quest, and none other than Keanu Reeves, Johnny Silverhand, is returning. He was in the
nice.
presentation. He was like, "I'm back, cyberpunk," and he's like, "Oh, Johnny Silverhand's back at it again." So
Oh man.
from your
Oh man.
perspective, seeing all this
It's tough.
stuff, hearing about this, and just like existing online, do you think that Cyberpunk, maybe not specifically 2077, but like Cyberpunk and CD Projekt in general, is like doing an okay enough job at like living up to some of the promises? And from people you've talked to, like, does it seem like the reception around this game has sort of been like, it's not the thing that was going to melt down Grand Theft Auto 5 like people acted like it would, but like there's a fan base, right?
Yeah, yeah, like definitely there's no doubt that like people still enjoy the products, right? Like in spite of everything that is around that game, right? Um and like definitely it's a thing of, what they pitched, right? Like those crazy, flash words of what they described this game as, right? Like did not come to fruition. And like from a lot of people, I've also heard that like, hey, like it very much just plays like an RPG.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like just like and you're familiar with what Cyberpunk is presenting, right? Like,
Yeah.
but hey, it's a really good presentation of that. Like it's a really good RPG, right? At the end of the day. And like bottom line, I do think that like people I mean, honestly, like if I was them, I'd say, hey, listen, look, like you are quote unquote, for the most part, right? And I think for a lot of people, right, you're past the ground zero zone,
Yeah.
like you're past it. So all you really got to do is just give quality, good content, and gamers love to forgive. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, people are gonna forget. They're never gonna forget what Cyberpunk was, but people can't wait to talk highly about Phantom Liberties and have their think pieces of like, oh, look how great Cyberpunk is now. Like, look at No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
I hear virtually nobody talk about how No Man's Sky dropped in 2016 versus now. No one, and like Cyberpunk is on that track. I'm sure there are No Man's Sky players that have no idea what happened in 2016.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
No idea. No, like doesn't exist. No idea. So like they are definitely on that track and they will get to that point. I would just tell them bottom line, you just got to number one, make sure the quality is on point. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I hope now of all times, what it's like when you know, if it's not finished, let it cook.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's much better for that. And like still like bottom line, their stock prices are still in half based off what they were before Cyberpunk launched, right? So like they took a huge hit from like a market standpoint
Hmm.
for that game, but hey, it still sold well,
Hmm.
you know. And I just think that they just need to capitalize on this, on this on this time of them coming out of that ground zero
Hmm.
mode. I mean, not mode, but place in that game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they did also mention that 1.6 I think is the next update for the game. That's going to be the final. That's not like just like maintenance update for last gen consoles. So base Xbox One, PS4. The last update is 1.6, and 1.6 is they said adding like some overhauls to some of the systems in the game, like completely changing how the cop system works. Because I know that was a big meme when the game launched. It's like, oh, the cops like will spawn right behind you, or like they'll just not um, activate at the right time. But like 1.6, whenever that drops, I think is probably like what you're saying, the last nail in the coffin of like the launch period, the ground zero, the fallout of all that is done. And then between, I think, Edge Runners releasing this month up to whenever the Phantom Liberty releases, I think we'll probably give a better idea of what's in store for this game in the future, or this series with this developer. But I guess the reason I bring up the anime is because we've talked a lot lately, especially with the thing we're going to get to for POTS this week, about like transmedia synergy. We talk about how like The Witcher Wild Hunt sold incredibly well when season 2 came out of the show, and it like charted that month. Um, Considering now where you see the people still covering Cyberpunk are like really happy with it. Like I know Gene Park, Washington Post, like huge fan of that game. Paul Tassi on Forbes also like really both are big proponents of where it is now. Um, if people look into 2077 moving forward after seeing Edge Runners, a show that could just be an incredible show like Arcane was, do you think that maybe this will be another instance of the show did well? Now the game's going to do well because the show did well. Because we've seen other studios do that. PlayStation's trying to do that across the board now. Um, do you think there's a world where that happens for Cyberpunk with the show?
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Because like I'm like you brought up perfect examples, like Arcane, not that League needed help, right? But
Yeah.
you know, I assume there
League
was some
players might need
positive
help.
evidence. Oh snap! Boy,
I'll take that shot.
someone said it. You know what I'm saying? Someone said it on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm sure it'll do good for Cyberpunk, and like definitely, I bet that was one of those things of like, hey, let's keep that show going, right? Because if
Mm-hmm.
that hits in a positive way, and we're ready to take the positive aspects of that positive hit, we can turn the whole thing around, and
Mm-hmm.
like it could really help out. And I bet it will help out as long as the show is good,
Mm-hmm.
and that will help out the game as long as the updates to the game are good,
Yeah.
right? Like that's the bottom line that I want them, not that they're listening, but like, put out a good product,
Yeah.
put out a quality product, and the people will come. You know,
Yeah.
that's just how it goes.
So, and I mean, I really had no interest in watching Arcane because I was like, well, I had interest in terms of like, oh, this is a quality TV show because I like well done TV. But I didn't watch it because I was like, is this gonna get me wanting to like read up on League lore? Because I don't want to spend my time doing that. So I just skipped it. But like, I'll watch Edge
Not
Runners.
legal or
I'll watch Edge Runners. You know, it's coming out in a
yeah,
few days.
I really want to, but like, do I gotta know the game? But like, I don't want to get spoiled for the game.
I think so. They
You know?
said it takes place in the same city, but it's completely separate cast, separate characters, separate stuff.
Oh, okay. That's good. Okay,
So, and
okay.
some of the updates they did were like, oh, you can get the main character from the show, you can get their jacket in 2077 from the vendor.
Right.
But in terms of being like grabbed by the throat by the transmedia synergy strategy, I would much prefer to give Cyberpunk a shot after really enjoying the show because I love Witcher, than I would playing a second of League of Legends after enjoying Arcane. So
Yeah,
I'll give it a
yeah,
shot.
yeah, for sure.
The other next thing on the list for you might have missed it. What's old is new. This is a bit of a stretch, but Pokemon, it's not really changing much. Except for this one, kind of. So this is the one exception to everything. There was a new Pokemon trailer this morning for Scarlet and Violet. Um, this is a game I'm very excited for. This is the third mainline. If you don't count Arceus, it's the third mainline Pokemon game. Hit and switch. Second, if you only count like full new generations. But this continues to impress me every time they show it off. It was a 3-minute trailer this morning. They showed off some new Pokemon, a giant rock crab named Cloth. But the big focus was the whole 3 paths that we talked about before, where in Scarlet and Violet, they have the typical Pokemon like gym route. You want to go to the 8 gyms, you want to go to the league championship, that's a path to pursue as a player in this game. Or focusing on the fact that you're a student in a Pokemon Academy in this game, okay, pursue exploration with this character. You're like an upperclassman who can teach you the ropes of your studies and all that stuff, and pursue, I think it's like legendary Pokemon that exist within the region. And then there's a third one called, I think, Starlight Road, which is just how Pokemon games typically have, like, oh, Team Rocket, Team Galactic, Team Skull. It's like a villain controlled area, I guess, of the map, or regions of the map that you can just like go wipe out. And all of these things take place simultaneously. You can do it any order you want. They're continuing to reiterate on that. But I think the thing that impressed me the most, visually, it looked like a big improvement from the initial showing. I think less Jaggies. The art style is singing more now. I think they're smoothing it out. Yeah. Actually, this is a perfect opportunity. Live chat. I pulled B-roll for this. I forgot I had the trailer ready. There we go. Look at this. So, audio listeners, you're missing out. I apologize, but video viewers, Starfall Street, excuse me, face off against rebellious students. That is the Team Star, the evil team run. And even evil is a bit of a stretch because they could just be like
your rivals.
Like schoolyard bullies essentially.
Right.
But there are some holdovers that I've noticed in the trailer from Arceus that I didn't think would be in this game. Mainly the ability to move around during combat. So like your Pokemon are battling, you can walk through the field, which is something that was only done in Arceus. And the thing that I think is speaking to me as just a general RPG fan is there's auto battling now as an option. So if I want to grind my Fuecoco, which is a bad example because I always want to put in the work for my starter, I will be able to just take him into a field, turn my brain off, turn auto battle on, and then he's grinded. He's doing the work. Or they showed this on the trailer. You can take a Pokemon on your team, and if you, Kevin, want to be like, hey, I want to explore this cave and look for resources for things, you, Pikachu, go into that field and train by yourself. You can do that. And then you can get Pikachu back after you did your spelunking for resources, and Pikachu's like 10 levels higher. So
that's dope. That's actually really dope.
Yeah.
I like that. I actually like that a lot. That's neat.
Mm-hmm.
That's neat. That's a feature that's like, okay, like that like makes you think a little bit more because like, I'm definitely not trying to, spend like 50 hours and grind out all, like, no, that's not what I want to do. But if I get sitting out the homies, make them stronger, you know what I'm saying, that we continue the story together, you know what I'm saying, that could definitely entices your boy. And that makes it feel like a little bit more like kind of like a strategy, like sim type, you know what I'm saying? Like it just feels like a little bit more of like it feels that Animal Crossing satisfaction of like having my ducks in a row,
Mm-hmm.
and like, yep, he's doing this for this outcome. Okay, cool, okay, bet. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And I do think also like one could argue, does Pokemon even need that? Because for leveling, it's always been, especially lately, pretty easy to make your team overpowered because of the uh, XP share system, where
Yeah.
if you battle, everybody's getting experience, even if they're on the bench.
Right.
Um, which I'm okay with. I know there's like super hardcore people that hate it, but I think you're just like killing downtime where you would have been like wasting time mashing A to tackle a sun kern 10 times over for like half a level. Um, and I think just giving the options now with auto battling is nice because I will happily be watching something on TV and leveling up my team to be super powerful in this game as we
Yeah.
enjoy the fall. But yeah, big fan of the trailer. I think visually it's come a long way, and I'm very excited to get my hands on it. One other thing I'll say, because they're in the thumbnail, they showed 2 new Pokemon in this thing. Interesting designs because they just look like people. I thought it might have been like, oh, this is a gimmick where like the trainer has a suit of armor, but no, it's a Pokemon that is like possessing a suit of armor. One is Fire Ghost, I think, and one is Poison Ghost, and they're version exclusives. So like the Scarlet one gets the Fire Ghost, the Violet gets the Poison Ghost. I think is how it shakes out, but they look like Mega Man characters. Like one of them just has like cannon fists, and the other one has sword hands. Like that's what they are. They just look like people. So.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
Yeah,
it's certainly a choice.
It's grown on me. When I first saw it, I was like, I don't like that. But now, like, I'm like, okay, it's weird. I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm very excited for this. I know you've danced around Pokemon before. We've talked about this game. I think at this point, for sure, because you've asked the question before, for you, I would probably recommend this over Arceus, because Arceus is much more of like a if like the hardcore want to spend a lot of time in Pokemon doing menial things that are just cool because of the setting. Like, I think you would probably appreciate parts of Arceus, but I think for what you've enjoyed about Pokemon, from what you've told me, this will have elements of Arceus and just be a full-blown Pokemon game. So this is absolutely the one to do, especially at this point because we're very close to the release. So,
right.
So, excited for that. They also announced a new Switch OLED model, all designed around Scarlet and Violet, which looks pretty nice. That's out November 4th, and the game is out November 18th. So,
indeed.
You know it's out November 9th?
I do know. Of course I do. Hopefully, we get more info and a fucking dedicated to a play. That'd be fucking nice, right, Christian? You know what I'm saying? Remember they used to do that? Yeah. You know what? I'll even fight for you. Remember when they used to do directs? Remember that?
The direct thing, I think, is at least okay because this summer they've been like tweeting things and like giving new videos and content regularly. And we're also due for one next week. So.
We are both due. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We are in our ninth month of birth, man. Like we are popping at the seams, if you will. But yeah, we'll see.
In the meantime, though, God of War Ragnarok.
Yes, God of War Ragnarok. Yes, God of War Ragnarok. I forgot to say the game.
God of War Ragnarok is the next cover story for Game Informer. They have 4 minutes of new footage that I believe they've shown fully at this point, unless I'm incorrect.
No, they have not.
They haven't? Okay. Because I did 2 videos,
so.
right?
Yeah, they're both like a minute and a half. So there's a chance, but I don't think we've seen all of it. I think we have like a few more, maybe at least a minute left over. I don't know, but yeah, they're both small clips. Not at all, and definitely don't take this as me at all talking shit about Game Informer. Right? They're just working with what they got. Right?
Oh, this is fully Sony's you're gonna call. This is fully Sony's call.
Yeah, this is. But I'm like, yo, 4 minutes. 4 minutes. You're giving Game Informer 4 minutes, and yo, that ain't stop me. I'm still doing breakdowns on the channel. Go and check those out. Listen, that ain't stop. Listen. I'm still working with what they give me, but damn, for real, for the whole month. Come on now. Give me a little something else. Come on. Give Alex Van Aken a nice little 7-8 minute juicy, you know, you know, gameplay thing.
Hmm.
You know, give me that. But oh well, yeah, 4 minutes.
Yeah. So so far they've showcased combat and Svartalheim, the dwarf realm, correct?
Yep. Svartalheim.
Yes.
That's how you say it. Svartalheim.
I'm doing it based off
Spar-
of the MCU because
Svartalheim.
I for sure
No, that sounds right.
heard Thor, not Horde Thor, heard Thor say like Niflheim, Svartalheim. Like I've heard that.
That sounds correct, but there's just an F that just throws me off,
Yeah.
But that's how it goes. Yeah, we've gotten that. We've gotten combat details, and each gameplay showing has a little article that gives a little more context to it.
Mhm.
You can check out the very detailed and extensive look at both of those on the channel right now. Go and check those out.
Where is that?
I forgot to say the channel. PlayStation Source,
Mhm.
youtube.com/PlayStation Source. Go ahead, check out that. And
As a brief
yeah, what's
tease
up?
for
What's
somebody
up?
uncultured who's only played God of War 2018 once at that, but Platinum did. One of the things they focused on in that combat trailer was like, oh, really cool thing that we're adding for Ragnarok is like elemental attacks for ice attacks and fire attacks. Can you, in an educated way, because I know you did your very long video, explain to me how that is different from the fact that the Blades of Chaos did fire damage and the Leviathan axe
Yeah,
did ice damage?
I
Because I was
can.
like, oh, that's new? Okay.
I can. So what they were highlighting there. Okay, so I this is still kind of out for the jury, right? Because I think I got something wrong in my video, or I
Okay.
misinterpreted something that they said. But I've heard otherwise. I know like that's true. So I think there is going to be some sort of mechanic where you're able to swap the elements off the weapon. So you can do specific fire moves on the Leviathan axe and ice moves for the blades, right?
Gotcha.
I think that's still in the game. I could be wrong on that. That's been a little bit fuzzy. I have to go back and really just like read what was said, but that's what I got the first time, and like other people have said that too.
Hmm.
So the big thing about that is that we have these new weapon signature moves. So before in God of War 2018, you press triangle, that would always pull out your axe. So if you had the Blades of Chaos, you just press triangle, right? It was heavy attack, but for the most part, it was always just getting your axe out, right? So now they're introducing these weapon signature moves, which are just like fancier moves that do that do elemental damage. It's not like there wasn't like elemental damage in the first game, but they're just highlighting these new moves that you can swap out those
Gotcha.
moves for like different stuff like that. And like what I think is actually like I'm not sure if it's newer, but they do longer like status ailments to those enemies, right? So like it'll light them on fire, which is not new, but I think it's just more pronounced and like
Sure.
just more powerful, I believe, in Ragnarok. What I've been liking is the differences to the shields. We are not going to be having different types of shields from a mechanical standpoint. So they highlighted two different shields called the Dauntless Shield, which is more of a lightweight parry type of shield, where if you parry at the right time, you get to unleash a devastating blow that's triggered by this like red orb that happens on your shield. And there's the Dauntless Shield, where it builds up energy as it takes hits, but as it takes more and more hits, it stores more and more energy, but the shield itself becomes a little bit weaker. So you might be open to attacks that would not hit you otherwise if it wasn't built up with all that energy. And then Kratos can slam it into the ground and do like an area of effect type of move that knocks a bunch of enemies back. So I really like that, how there's gonna be a little bit more flexibility to the shield and you're able to just do different things with the shield as a whole. That's really cool. They talked a little bit about how something that we already knew before, but being able to grapple with the Blades of Chaos to more higher elevations and have that be more of like a verticality type of standpoint from different play spaces in Ragnarok. And then the second one they just showed off, Svartalheim. It's like a very developed dwarf realm. It's the realm of the dwarves and everything. So I'm sure we'll see Brock and Sindri there and all that great stuff. And it's like the closest thing you can get to like a fully fledged city in the Norse realms. It's gonna be Svartalheim. That's how they kind of like described it. So yeah, there's specific things that you can do in those environments to get over certain like environmental puzzles and all that. But that's pretty much the gist of the second one as well.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool. I will also say this has been a big Twitter hubbub lately. Leaks for the game have started popping up, so be aware.
I've
Um,
not seen anything. Thank God. Thank God.
I'm not gonna say a single thing because I saw one thing, but it's the same thing I saw like a month ago, and I
Yeah.
guess it was just circulating again, and people were like, "Oh, leaks are out," and it was like, I was like, "Really? Like this counts as a leak? All right." Like I guess the context of it, I guess, is a leak, but it's like, really? Like, okay, okay, okay. It was just very
Interesting.
strange for people who've seen it. You'll understand that sort of like this is the thing that we're worried that leaked out of the game. It's like I could have guessed this, but okay, like, all
Yeah.
right.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay. I mean, I would rather hear that. That's definitely not. That's honestly
yeah,
good
yeah, yeah,
news.
yeah.
That's great news. Honestly,
It's
that if I stumble across it, it won't like really ruin my experience. Like it's not
yeah,
gonna be crazy. It's
like
not like. Is it like part two leaks? Like nowhere near that.
no, it's
Okay. Cool. Bet.
like I'm only gonna say like the facts we know, Kevin. It is a game called God of War Ragnarok that follows
Right.
up God of War 2018, a
Right.
game that sees Kratos in Norse mythology. We get to
Right.
see him fight. Who does he fight? He fights Thor's sons and Balder.
Or Thor sons, Balder. Um.
That's it for gods, right? It's just them.
Yeah. Huh. That's actually a very small fucking list.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't fight Freya.
No.
I bet you will though. Trust that. I bet you
It's
will
like
though.
you.
I
It's
bet you
like
will though.
it's a game where Kratos, the God Killer, fights a small cast of characters. There's only two games that are covering Norse mythology. Maybe the
So
sequel will
I
do
assume
some
we're
stuff.
gonna
Like
we're gonna be able to fight the other
maybe
ones
you'll
here.
see a character in the sequel that is important and
Okay.
to the mythology and fight them. Like yeah,
If you want, make a face or not, but like I'm assuming Thor will be a fight. I'm assuming Freya will be a fight. Odin probably for sure. That probably be like the last one, probably, I bet. If we're gonna go with that, right? Like you're making the face, so probably, you know what I'm saying? Like so yeah, we'll see. But yeah. Okay, yeah, those are just like guesses that anyone can make. So
yeah,
okay,
they're
that's cool.
guesses we've been making since 2018, Kevin. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
leaks
you're
out
right.
there. It's like, okay, I get it. It's like, yeah, it's like I'm sure if people were speculating something for a long time, it's like, hey, that thing turned out to be right. And it's like, oh, bummer that I was right, even though I convinced myself I was right for 4 years. It's like, okay, is it a
Right.
spoiler? I don't know,
Right.
but
Oh, you know who I want to fight? I want to fight that big bird in hell in
we were supposed to,
Helfheim.
right? They were planned for that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was cut, but yo, I need that fight. I need that fight. Let's go. Let's have me run it back. Let's have me run it back. I need that.
So
I can't wait. I can't wait. I just need them to, stop this bullshit with how they're giving info out. Like it's really annoying at this point,
yeah, is
But yeah,
this? I asked you this before because of just the trend of the summer. Um, is this potentially just the new
I hope
PlayStation
not.
strategy where they
I
just
fucking hope not. Because like, what was the problem with the previous one? Literally, what was the problem? Did anyone complain? But like, what's the Like, what is the Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
the same
I
reason they
get,
left
I get
E3.
pissed even
Same
talking
reason
about
they
it.
left E3. Too much money.
No, I mean, no, but like, you're not paying anyone to do a state of play.
You're paying your employees, you're paying contractors, people making graphics, and all that stuff that I imagine some of them are not in house. So, got to pay for trailers, got to take time away from the teams.
I don't know, man. I don't know, dog. I mean, like, you can't tell me that, and like, you weren't saying this, but like, yo, why even make state of play? Like, come on now, like, it's
Did
man, that's whatever, man.
correct me if
I'm hurt.
I'm wrong. Did State of Plays not begin under the old guard?
I can look really quick at the first day of play I have in the
I thought
playlist,
that
but
was like 2018 era or
no,
later.
yeah, it was definitely 2018 era for sure. It was definitely 2018,
Because Herman
definitely
didn't come on until
2018.
like
But
2020 or like 2019.
yeah, 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 like it was like 2019, but Nah, they can't do a state of play, man. Come on, man.
Because
They can't
the
do
state of
that.
play was the Sean Layden dream team answer to leaving E3. They were like, we're done with E3, but we'll do state of plays. Um, and we've seen a lot of those decisions fade away under the new guard. So whether that's just like we have one showcase a year now, and then we'll do we'll Twitter
Oh
drops
my
here and there.
God. Can I send you a screenshot of how we looked in the first day of play? Fuck yo, Christian.
Were you still rocking the
We
shaved
really
head?
glow. We no, but we really glowed up. I'll tell you something. We both lost some weight, and we both glowed that. Leo, look at this. I'm saying right now in the Discord, bro.
Yeah, I can I
That's the
can
first day to play. Put that up on the screen,
yeah I
bro.
can drop that into the
That
live
is
show.
crazy. But it was what's the day on this? What's the day on this? What's
Back
the
in
day on
time.
this? Why can't I see the date on this?
First day to play,
Am I
I think
crazy?
was that room I was in. That was 2018, summer spring 2018, because that was my junior year room in college.
Yeah, for me, that was my first room when I moved out. So that's definitely post 2017. But I don't know why I can't see the date. But yeah, it's like 2017, probably 2018. Yeah, yeah.
So I don't think it's ridiculous to say that maybe that was just the answer the Layden crew had, and then under the Jim Ryan era, it's all about min maxing. Because like we for a long time people said this about Marvel stuff, and I think it is very easy. And I'm thinking about like writing or like making a video about this. I think there's a Venn diagram between MCU and Marvel fans and Sony first party PlayStation fans. The Venn diagram is just a circle. I'm pretty sure it's like all the exact same sort of strategy and thought processes. But um, will God of War Ragnarok sell any less to the mainstream if they don't focus time on full blown um, state of plays for it, right? I guess that we'll know when we see what sales were for Last of Us for launch month, because this is sort of the first huge game they've done without the typical like old guard approach to marketing and promoting the thing, right? Because Last of Us
I mean,
got a dev diary and just a bunch of drops, right?
I'm still holding out hope. Can we? Oh my god! If we don't get a fucking dude, I'm gonna flip. I'm gonna be so. I get so angry. You know what I'm saying, Christian? I get so aggravated. You know what I'm saying, Christian? I guess so, I gotta woosah. I gotta relax. I gotta relax. Gotta relax. But no, I have to believe and keep the faith that we will get a state of play. Will that bite me in the ass? I'm ready for the bite me in the ass if it does. Okay, I'm like, okay, it is what it is, right? And then at that point, we're going into uncharted territories of PlayStation marketing that I don't like. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. And no, the showcase does not count. If it's gotta be, listen, if it's at a showcase, it's gotta be double what the fuck is their play would be. Honestly.
It's funny because I
Honestly.
feel like if it's at a showcase, it's gonna be half. Like like a
But
state
I
of
don't
play
want
would be 20
I still
minutes.
don't want it at a show. Now I'm still not going to like it. I'm still going to bitch about it, right? But I could see there being an element of if we show any more of this game past the first 2 hours, it's spoilery.
Yeah, I
Right? But
yeah.
hey, you have 2 hours. You're telling me you can't show me 15 minutes?
I they're in
I
such
don't
an
even care if
interesting
it's like I don't even care. Like, bro, come on.
they're in such an interesting position right now with that because like I feel like if there's no twist, if it is just your Kratos the whole game, it's another 25-30 hour game. You see through everything. It's Kratos, it's Atreus, you do your stuff, and then credits. And then maybe at the end they tease the next mythology or something. Um, if it's just that and they didn't market any of it, like marketing less of it, I feel like is fueling the people that are like there has to be a twist, there has to be something after the first hour, like because that's kind of what some of the speculation was with the part one thing, right? Where they kept like not showing it. It's like, oh, because they want to blow it out and they want to show everything. Like,
I
I'm
said,
getting,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I'm
Even I
getting,
said,
it's giving Star Wars trilogy where like they didn't show anything about, like they didn't really talk much about Luke Skywalker before seven. It's like, what's he gonna be? What's he gonna do? He's not it until the last 2 minutes. So it's like, if they don't say anything about Ragnarok, is Kratos gonna die? Is Atreus gonna take over? Are we gonna play as Thor? All this stuff. It's like, no, it's Kratos on his little adventure.
I
Play
mean,
it, you know.
I don't, I still think the game is going to be
It's gonna be good.
magnificent.
Yeah.
I still think it's going to be, I mean, I'd say better than good. I think it will be jaw dropping again, and like but scores will they reflect that? We'll see. Ain't that right? We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. We'll
I
see
mean,
what's up.
what I
We'll see
always
what's
say.
going down.
PlayStation 5
We'll see
era,
what's up,
king of the
man.
80s. Let's say
We'll see
time
what's up, man. We'll see
capsule.
what's up, man. Warranted and not warranted. You know what I'm saying? That's
Let's open a time capsule. We're talking a lot about presentations for this month. A Nintendo Direct that may or may not be happening next week. A state of no, a PlayStation showcase that might happen this
who the
month.
fuck knows? Who the fuck knows, bro? Who the fuck
Because
knows?
I feel like if it was not, if it was going to be before the very last week of September, we would have an announcement this week. Because before, when they did the showcase, they were like, mark your calendars 10 days from
Because
now, you know.
it wasn't intended with the previous showcase. I believe it was a week. It was next
Okay.
Thursday.
Okay.
Holy shit! You know what? I have a theory. They're going to announce it tomorrow. Showcase coming next week. NFL starts tomorrow night. That's when they start getting the commercials going. You know what I'm saying? Because they were advertising on ESPN,
Okay.
PlayStation Showcase.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, I fucking pray. If we wake up tomorrow on this, if we wake up tomorrow on this showcase, guys, we lit. We lit. But please continue with the time capsule.
There are other events that are happening, confirmed to be happening, not these nebulous PlayStation and Nintendo presentations. Two, the first one that's happening Friday, as of this recording. I mean Friday in general. Disney slash Marvel Games is kicking off D23. They're doing their big blowout presentation, showcasing all the things under Disney and Marvel Games, including stuff like Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, um, Marvel Midnight Suns. One of the key things they're talking about is that they're going to reveal Amy Hennig's what is it called? Ensemble Marvel game. Uh, Strictly talking Marvel because I don't think they're going to show anything else they haven't said for Marvel because that seems like a big thing you want to give that the spotlight. Ensemble Marvel game from Amy Hennig. What is the ensemble in your head? What team is it? What group of characters is it?
I mean, I'm kind of down for X-Men, right? Um, because I mean, I just would like that just because I feel like it's something that they're gonna want to start kicking up the dust for with the X-Men coming into the MCU. We have the name drop of mutants and Ms. Marvel and all that, and like I think it's gonna be wise to start, getting that going and everything. But also from like a hey, like if the X-Men version of the MCU is vastly different, right? I think it's gonna be cool to have a modern media type, whether it be game, movie, in this case, it's a game that is more, that more hinges on the like original X-Men style, right? Something that like they probably, or I would bet they can't do with the MCU just because of how the MCU was developed and everything, right? So that's where I'm at. Like that's what I would love to see. I would love it to have the same effect where in even more so, right? Where like the Guardians game, I feel like there were definitely commonalities with the Guardians in the MCU, but there was a lot of other stuff that I did not know about from the comics, right? So if they can do that same thing with X-Men, for me personally, as someone that, has never read the comic but loves the MCU, that could be wise. And that could be really cool for me as well. And I
Mm-hmm.
assume that the comic book fans would gush over that stuff, so.
Do you think that is likely with Insomniac getting a Wolverine game all by themselves?
Ah, shit.
Because
I forgot
X-Men
about that.
can't exist without Wolverine. It has X-Men, or Wolverine was not an original X-Men team member for a while, so like it's completely possible to do an X-Men game without Wolverine, especially considering we're getting one. But do you think that that makes it a more of a we don't want to step on anybody's toes sort of things? Like maybe
I
we just do
mean,
something else, or
yeah. Granted, I'm gonna make it like a loose connection,
sure.
right? But like, Spider-Man's in Marvel. Granted, it's only on Marvel Avengers on PlayStation, right? So there's
Mm-hmm.
that. But like they've shown that okay, like we can have a same character in a different game that's completely disconnected,
Yeah.
right? And it serves the needs and wants of the Avengers game that don't coincide with the Spider-Man game, right? So maybe they have you know a more like true to form, if you will, Wolverine, right?
Mm-hmm.
That isn't whatever Sucker Punches. No, not Sucker Punch. And Sunday Night Games will be,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I assume that's going to be a little bit different
Yeah.
than other interpretations. So maybe, yeah, maybe, but I can still see them working around that for sure, for sure. I just don't know what other like ensemble casts like they could, and maybe that's just me just not knowing a lot about the other groups. So if you have a pitch, let me know for sure.
There was a rumor because of Kevin Smith.
Fantastic Four.
Yes, Fantastic Four was the rumor for what this would be.
Oh shit.
Um, which I'd be down
That
for.
would
I
go
think that'd be
hard.
cool,
That would go hard. Yeah, that'd
especially
be dope as
because
fuck.
I think the Fantastic Four, especially the fact that they were like Marvel's first family, it's all that stuff. Like it was created in I think the 60s. Like it was like one of the original groups and one of the original characters were like that gang. Um, I think there's an opportunity for Amy Hennig who leans into pulpy adventure stuff to make a what I would love, and I've wanted a video game to do this about superheroes forever. Do a period piece video game about a superhero. Like make a superhero game that takes place in the 60s. Like I would fully be in for that. Like a Superman game in the 1960s down specifically though Fantastic Four like leaning into the camp, leaning into what she did so well with the Uncharted trilogy of like very bombastic, very pulpy, like not serious at all, no real drama. It's like this is just like an adventure. Um,
Damn it. Damn it. Fuck.
like
You're right.
I think there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah.
Um, for a similar pitch though, because I would be super down for that. I think Fantastic Four is a cool group. Um, I will double down on what I've wanted this game to be forever, which was a Nick Fury game when he was like field agent in his prime. Nick Fury and the Agents of Shield. That's the ensemble. Just a cast,
Great,
cool Shield agents.
great show. Great
I
show,
did
by
not
the way.
watch much of it, but
Fucking great show. Great show.
yeah, if
I
it's
definitely
like
want the Fantastic Four more.
yeah.
Yeah, damn. You sold me hard on the Fantastic Four.
But I was
That's
talking to Jack about this on Excelsior. If they framed it of like Nick Fury and maybe like 3 or 4 agents of Shield are doing a mission where they have to like hunt down, eliminate like Crimson Dynamo, the Russian version of Iron Man, like in the 90s. So it's like you're hunting down supervillains as just like normal people, like the Agents of Shield, starring playing as Nick Fury. I think there's potential there. That's a concept that is popular right now with the boys being like hunting down superpowered people. So could be done,
yeah.
but
I was I I was gonna say, like that's not gonna like grab like not it's not gonna grab the allure, right? The bombastics. But like if you can make it have its unique flavor or something of like the boys, right? Where like the boys on paper, like that should not be entertaining, but it fucking is, like it's great, because they have that style. Okay. I'm with you. I'm with you. It would take a lot more effort to do it, but I'm with you. I'm with you.
regardless, we'll find out this weekend. Outside of that, which is think going to be the big main announcement, are there any other Disney Marvel games that you hope to see this weekend?
Yo, there was some talk about Spider-Man 2, but I'm like, hey.
No.
They can't show that here, right? It's
Not if
impossible.
there's a showcase in 2 weeks where they're showing 2023 games. That's the year one, you know?
I really hope there's a fucking showcase, man. But
Did you hear my sound
no, I
effect?
mean, no, I did not hear sound effect.
Oh, I went.
What?
Indiana Jones. Do you think Indiana Jones shows up in any way?
Oh, yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Definitely. Machine games, yeah. I mean, now the hope I feel like is way down. Where Wolfenstein 3 is, I don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know, fam. I don't know, dog. I don't think we're getting in. That hurts, bro. That really hurts, man. That hurts. That really fucking hurts. But hey, it Indiana Jones, I definitely want to see that for sure. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And it's cool that like this might literally end up being like another one of like the big games conferences that we look forward to.
Yeah.
Granted, it's very much specific and very much Disney and Marvel, right? Like a very like niche and specific thing, but they're big games.
Mhm.
Like hey, it's big games. Um, yeah,
I
you know,
I think it's not out of the realm of possibility that we get some little tidbit about Kingdom Hearts 4 here because
Ye-
I'm not just hoping right now. I got some crumbs, okay? The teaser poster for D23 had a Keyblade on it. Um and earlier this year when they revealed it at the anniversary event, Nomura said, "We don't have anything to show at E3 this year." He didn't say there's nothing else to show for the rest of this year. And this was before it was even canceled. They were like, we don't have anything to show at E3 or E3 time or summertime this year. This event is happening. TGS is
right,
happening this month. Square Enix is going to be
right,
there.
right.
I don't think it is out of the realm of possibility that we get maybe an English trailer because we don't have an English trailer yet with Haley Joel in there doing some storylines. Nothing.
Oh, okay,
So
okay. I see.
maybe
I
like a
see.
slightly different one. Maybe like announce that they're doing a Star Wars world because they are absolutely, and I think that would pop off at D23.
Yeah, that will go crazy.
So
That will go crazy. Yeah,
I'm giving it like a 40% chance.
40.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, okay, okay. I feel
So
you. We shall see. I'll be at work all day, so
that's
I will
unfortunate.
keep Nibel tweets. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I will not be here, but I'll definitely watch it Sunday. Get some nice,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, there's no PlayStation stuff.
Yeah. There's also the next day, Saturday, Ubisoft Forward featuring many things, including
Oh, I know.
several Assassin's Creed games, like four.
Yep.
Granted, a couple of them are within Infinity, but there's one that I'm truly excited for, and I'd like to talk about in this time capsule, and that's Assassin's Creed Mirage, which was the leaked, rumored standalone initial DLC for Valhalla that turned into its own game. Takes place in Baghdad. Uh, you are Basim,
Bassam.
Basim. Is that how? Well, is that the proper pronunciation, or is that how the Vikings say it?
That's literally, I think. That's how I remember how he says it.
Okay. Because I wouldn't put it past a
No,
Viking
I yeah, I hear
Anglo-Saxon
you.
to mispronounce it.
I feel you. No, like I'm trying to like think of like because my friends are all Muslim. Not
Mhm.
that Bassam's Muslim, but like a Middle Eastern type of way of pronouncing it. I think it will be Bassam.
Okay. Um,
I think.
I mean, I assume
If I'm
they
wrong,
like
my
say
bad.
his name in Valhalla.
Yeah, that's how I've heard. Like, I'm pretty sure it was just.
Okay.
I've never heard Basim. Like, he never said Basim
Okay.
in that. But
So, Basim is the lead. This takes place, I think, roughly around the Crusades, which is like getting into AC1 territory. But we have official key art. They said they're going to talk about it more this weekend. That's really all there is. But oh, baby, I never thought I'd see key art for an Assassin's Creed game that looked like that ever again. It is beautiful. It's so gorgeous. It is pure white cloak, hood, doing the assassin's I'm about to stab a knife through your throat Spider Man pose midair. Oh, it's so good. So happy with that art. It feels like an assassin again, Kevin. It just feels so good.
hey, man, we were doing
You're definitely
assassination.
killing people. You're
You know what I'm
definitely
saying?
killing people in the games.
You know what I'm saying? We was definitely doing our thing. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But it is cool, like the way they talk about how like, hey, like this is gonna be something that's way more focused, way more something that I've talked about a lot.
Hmm.
Where like, yo, these games are big as fuck, and like they don't. I never want to tell a dev like, oh, what you should and shouldn't do. Like it is what it is, right? But like
No, you should make
you
the game
you could really
smaller.
trim it.
For your health, for the sake of the people who are playing these, make them smaller, but at least by like 10%. It doesn't have to be like, oh, it only has to be the size of like Arkham City, you know? It's like you can make a big game. That's fine. But there's a
Yeah,
point where it's diminishing returns. It's like,
yeah.
what does it matter that there's 10 more dudes that want me to collect hay and then kill a market man that is also a mercenary? Like, it's only so impactful, right? Like, I don't know.
Indeed,
But
indeed, indeed.
I feel you though. This will be your first exposure to the classic Assassins game, right? If you play it,
Do we count Assassin's Creed Liberation on Vita?
I would count that,
Because
yeah.
definitely did play that. Definitely enjoyed that. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, off of I'm going in this for the character, right? Like I loved him in Valhalla. Very interesting character, you know what I'm saying? And
I've read
like
up on him, yeah.
definitely want to see what he goes into with this game as well, and like how Eivor is somehow connected, is also connected to this game as well in some ways. So that's really cool to see how that character pans out and like what she does in this game as well. So yeah, definitely I'm in. Yeah, I'll play it.
Going into Ubisoft Forward, though, knowing that we're going to learn a lot about Mirage, which is allegedly coming out spring of next year. Th- if it wasn't clear, that is a day one for me. Um, and I haven't been day one. Or no, I was Odyssey day one. Going into this presentation, though, with a list of Assassin's Creed games, which one, I guess, are you the most interested to see? Because there's this, Mirage, the classic style game, and there's also a couple games under the Infinity banner that are being rumored. I don't have them pulled up, but I believe there's two that
Project.
have been talked about.
I remember like reading about like Project Red, which is the Japanese one,
I heard there's one for
and
Japan and one
then
for China, and they're launching those with Infinity.
that's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
And those are most likely more in line with the RPG games.
Yeah, I don't think I want to see one more than the other. I am intrigued to see how they handle Infinity and like what that is like. I have an idea of it from like Valhalla and seeing how they handled, you know, spoilers. Like you go into like a dream state that you can go into in Valhalla and you play as the different gender that you pick that you didn't pick for your Eivor that's living, but you're in like the Norse realm, right? So you're traveling through Midgard and all that, and like they have like completely different environments within the same game. So that's what I'm imagining it might be like in Assassin's Creed Infinity. I just want to know like what it looks like as a whole and like how they actually adapt that and all that. Maybe it's like just like a room full of different animuses, and you just animi, like, and
That
maybe you just go into that, and like that might be what it is, But I
that's
don't
what
know.
I've
Who knows?
expected it to be, because if you play Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, that is the first game after they moved on from, or well, Rogue exists. Technically, it came out like 2 days beforehand, but that's not important. This is the first game, AC4 Black Flag, post Desmond as like the anchor to the modern day stuff. And you start out AC4 as an employee of Abstergo Industries, and you're in like the Abstergo offices. It's like Google, and it's first person, and it's like, oh, Abstergo Entertainment is using this stuff to tap into the memories of ancestors to make like immersive experiences for people. Like, remember in some of the Cyberpunk showings, there were like people will like do thrilling things in real life and then upload their consciousness. Like they'll be like, "Oh, I will like be killed and then upload this for a lot of money so people can like experience that as like a thing." Um Abstergo was doing something like that. So they were like, "You have access to this person's DNA. Their ancestor was a pirate. So you're going to go back in time in the Animus, do the Animus stuff as like, oh, I'm in there, and you're playing as a pirate, but we're recording it all so we can put that out as like a movie or a video game for somebody to play." Um, And ever since they talked about the live service thing, I was like, that kind of feels like what they were setting up there, where like the cubicle next to me could have been like feudal Japan or like Three Kingdoms China. Like they could have done that setup. I don't know if they will do that with characters or if that's just going to be a menu option, but I think you're right. I think they're going to probably frame it in a similar way. So
Very
interesting to see it.
intriguing. Yeah. Yeah. Heartland as well. I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited to see that,
Yep.
Free to play division game. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think this is going to be like a very important Ubisoft conference. They haven't shown up anywhere this year, I don't think, as far as I'm aware. It's been a while since we've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
So to see like, you know, how they're picking up the pieces and how they're readjusting their game's output, I'm very curious to see what happens. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
There was a Valhalla DLC earlier, but yeah, not like a full game, I don't think. It's been a while.
Yeah. I am also curious because I think this is just rumors, but in line with the Mirage setting time period, people have been kicking around. Also, the fact that this is like the feature of Assassin's Creed event. It's the 15th anniversary. Um, Rumors of a remake of Assassin's Creed 1, which I really like that game, but boy, is it troubled. So, like, I that is a case, I think, similar to like an RE4 style remake announcement where it's like, oh, you could really go off and like fully populate the city, like AC Unity style streets filled with like crowds and crowds of people in the Crusade era and fully go back to the original mechanics of like stealth, trailing, research, observation, moving in for the kill at the right time. Like more Hitman than anything else, honestly. Um, that is a rumor that could pop up at the show, but I would be fully interested in seeing the original idea of Assassin's Creed like gone back to, and just with the hindsight of 15 years of all the improvements, because like even if you remade the game like around Brotherhood times, like the game, like the jump from AC1 to AC2, there's a reason people talk about like, oh, this is the series AC2 moment, because it was drastic. So like if they
I've
announced it
only
like,
heard you say that.
hmm?
No, they're not gone. Not gone.
No, I
No,
think,
go.
yeah, I think there's a lot of room, because like when you go back to it, it's like parkour is barely there. It's like you can climb stuff, and just like a lot of the writing is like pretty poor. The character model is like the exact same dude as like modern day. Like this was before they were like, oh yeah, you're actually inhabiting this person. It's like, no, it's gonna be the guy's face, but maybe people
Right.
don't see him that way. Um, so yeah, if that is true, which I have my doubts about, because I feel it feels redundant if they're going back to the classic formula of Mirage. Um, we'll probably see it here. But speaking of remakes, Pots.
Pots.
Last of Us Part One's out.
Yep,
You beat it
it
yet?
is. Nope. I've been very busy, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But I am at the right now, I'm working to the hotel right now. We're working to the hotel. So we're definitely deep in there. We're about 4 or 5 hours in, you know what I'm saying? Um where do you want me to start, bro? Like where do you want me to start? Do you have anything specific that like you want to know like off rip, like right now? You know?
Um, I mean, I've listened to like the kind of funny impressions. Um, so I know like the big grand sweeping things of like, is there anything changed of like a story thing or like a reference, or, and no, there's not. Um, I guess for you, it's hard to like separate it from the expectations, because I know that, like you grounded yourself a lot after we like got pretty close to launch. Um, Playing it, do you feel that like the improvements they made make it comparable in a way that like you could genuinely say this is a better overall package than part one, because I know that you were like, when part two came out, you're like fully on board, like this is an improvement in every single way. But I know
Yeah.
with time removed, I don't know if you feel differently about the story, but like when I replayed part two, I my feelings changed a lot about it. But do you think with the improvements they made to gameplay, you could really say that like there's a strong case that this is the better Last of Us game compared to part two?
From a gameplay perspective, no. Right. And that hurts. That really does hurt, right? Like when like there'll be times where you're like part one is such a divisive thing that I've been going through, right? Where like from a gameplay perspective, it feels better, it feels smoother, right? But it's not what we wanted out of like what if you made part one in 2022, right? And there's been now a lot of talk that I'm not sure how I feel about. I'm gonna just say it, and y'all can take with that as you will. I'll tell you just firsthand. I'm not sure how I feel about this, right? But like a lot of people have been going on about like, what would have been the part one talk if they changed The Last of Us from a gameplay perspective, right? Like because overall, right? Like what I would say is that hey, like they did. I would say personally they refined the part one gameplay without changing it to a T, and I can definitely agree with that, right? But people go, how would it have been if they changed that gameplay in any significant way, even if it's prone, even if it's dodge, right? I'm still on the side of, hey, I wish dodge was here. I'm still on that. Prone, I've grown to understand that, hey, like at the end of the day, Joel's an old fucking man. He's not gonna be going up and down nilly willy. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like if we're gonna look at it from that way, sure. But a lot of people talk about like how um, I didn't see this firsthand. This is off of second account. This is me off hearing what people have said. But like, there were multiple Reddit threads that like, yo, if you as so much as fucking change a decimal integer of the Demon Souls gameplay in this remake, like it's flat out null and void. We're not having it. Granted, that's a very much hardcore crowd. Are we going to compare that hardcore crowd and how they feel about the soul genre to The Last of Us? Probably not,
Yeah,
right?
I
But
think
that's what I've been hearing a lot of as well. Like that, like
sure.
it have been what would have been the most chaotic release if they changed the gameplay or if they didn't change it, right? Where they pretty much did here, where they just did a refinement. Me, I would have been like, hey, let's look at that gameplay.
Hmm.
What doesn't work? Just what doesn't work? Like what are clear, undeniable things that are not cool with it?
Hmm.
And that's where I would have started to change the gameplay, right? But that's just
So
me. But yeah, so overall, part one gameplay, it feels like the original,
yeah,
but
and
a lot more smoother. Like a lot. Definitely the motion matching I can feel is smooth. Sorry, go ahead. I just want to make sure that that's out there, but go ahead.
yeah, just to sort of like back you up, because it sounds like you're still like wishing like, oh, what could have been if they really like went into the weeds and like thought ground level, like how do we make this equivalent? I think the difference between something like this and something like Demon Souls is like, and even like a handful of other remakes that exist, right? The Last of Us has never, the original game, like the original Last of Us game, The Last of Us has never been like the draw here is the gameplay. It's been good.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's
The old,
over. I think it's overhated, the original one, honestly. Like I get if you play on normal, it's like, oh, this isn't really that great. But when you play on like the OG PS3 or remastered, like Survivor or Onward, I truly think the gameplay of that title like sings in a way that's like, this is really great. This is really solid stealth gameplay. It's not the best survival horror game because you're not really like, it's like shades of that. It's like a survival horror light type game, but like um it's good. It's better than serviceable, I think, when you play on the higher difficulties. But that was never the appeal. If you read any review from the time, it's talking about the story, you know, and the characters and the writing. So I think like there's a world where every single cutscene in this game is the same, but the environments you're traveling through and the mechanics you have as Joel could have been brought up to part two level of like, okay, different paths through the levels, all these things, because that's not the gameplay in The Last of Us, I think, is different from the story. Like they're two separate things that don't really service each other in a way that other games do. And this is a common thing that people criticize some of the Naughty Dog stuff for, like the whole like they make such a big deal about Nathan Drake killing somebody in a cutscene, but in the game you're mowing down dudes. Like that's just a nature of the beast of the type of games they make. Like if you change gameplay, I do not think you would change the story at all. So I'm with you. I think like if they wanted to, they could have, and that's different from a game like Demon Souls where stories like kind of like fuck all. It's like yeah, there's like people they have agendas and things in the game, but the game is the combat and the attacking and the exploration like that is Demon Souls. The Last of Us is the narrative, you know. So I think
Yeah.
it is kind of apples and oranges, which I know wasn't the place you were coming from, but just that conversation. There's absolutely room, I would think, to change gameplay and improve for the better, like what you're talking about, like a what if scenario. So
Yeah, and like I'll be very clear here. Like this gameplay is better, right? From a objective standpoint, like it is better than the remaster and better than the original game, obviously, right? Like those are not debates. So like it is better. How much better? You know, that's where we get into the real like conversation of like
mhm.
it's not by a lot. I would personally say it's noticeable
Mhm.
after playing the first. I did like hour and a half of remastered recently. Um, I'd say definitely it's noticeable on the sticks, and it does have a fluidity that feels like part two, but I'm not sure if this is me capping or me having like me just assuming their intent here, right? And maybe this might be exactly how they perceived it, right? Where like Joel still retains that like tank type of feel, heavy feel to Joel, right? And like his attacks and the way he, goes from a shooting stance to a running stance, right? Like it feels a little bit more of like a sluggish type of thing that you would recall from the original Last of Us, right? Unlike part two, where Ellie's fluid as water. She's
Mhm.
she's able to go duck in, out, cover, switch weapons, do this, go prone. So like and you take into account who they are, where Joel's a 52-year-old man and Ellie is a 19-year-old woman. You know what I'm saying? And like just
Yeah,
purely off of age perspective, like that's gonna just happen.
yeah,
So like, but
I get that perspective.
I just don't want to tie story narratives to make up for how gameplay feels if it was not explicitly stated by Naughty Dog themselves.
Sure, because
Because people have been doing that, and like, you know, I'm just taking in that perspective and just
yeah.
presenting it, but it is what it
I
is.
mean, I think another thing to consider, even from like that argument, is like, okay, you play as Abby in part two. She's built way like wider and larger than Ellie is, and she's still very mobile. She does like all the same stuff, and
But she's not as mobile as Ellie. You know what I'm
but you
saying?
can do the
Like if you
same
recall that too.
mechanics. You can still crawl,
Yeah,
you can still
same
dive, you can
mechanics,
still do all that stuff.
absolutely.
Like, I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
yeah,
a
yeah,
enough of a leap because, like you're saying, that was never like stated as the intent. You know, but
yeah. I just think overall it was like a hey, Last of Us is a masterpiece. Spoiler alert: this part one is still a masterpiece. Just have that out there. Like that's obvious, right? But I think they had two roads of like, hey, like, are we going to make changes or are we going to just refine and keep the original feel for The Last of Us? I don't think either way is necessarily inherently wrong, you know?
mhm,
And if you ask me, hey, there's a part one beta build that has dodge, I would love to play that and at least see how that would have been, for sure. Even, that there was a dodge that was cut from the
right.
original game. We have footage of that from the GDC, right? So like I would have loved to have seen the dodge, there was even one time last night I was playing and I did the L1 down stick. Fucking, you know what I'm saying? And try to but it is what it is. Not there. Yeah. So gameplay it is better. Is it better by a lot? That's up to your interpretation. Me, it's not. that crazy of an evolution of gameplay, but bottom line, from an objective standpoint, it does feel smooth. The motion matching does help the game and Joel feel fluid in terms of movements and not so rigid, right? He's still rigid and overall, I feel like speed
Yeah.
and overall, but it's a lot more smooth for sure. Yeah.
The other gameplay improvement that I'm aware of that was like what I knew about like leading up to the game is because we've covered like the motion matching, the animations, which are all like making it feel smoother. Enemy AI,
Yeah. I want to keep all this also like I'm trying to give you
yeah.
what is entering the question, but I am gonna have a much more bigger discussion on
Oh, for sure.
Road to
Yeah,
Part One
yeah,
on Sunday. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But from an enemy AI standpoint, I'm impressed, but also it's not perfect, right? Like it's not exactly like what they pitched. Like it is better. Enemies are fucking flanking me. I am playing on hard mode. Yeah, I'm on hard. I'm not on grounded. I'm on hard. Enemies
Is
are definitely was yeah. There's I think there's more difficulties. Like I think there's like super easy, normal, whatever medium is hard, survivor,
Survivor?
and then I
Okay,
think
okay,
grounded. Yeah, I don't think I'm playing on survivor.
okay.
And
Because
yeah, no, yeah, no.
Survivor's how I played remastered before
Shit,
Part
maybe I
Two.
am. It's the one right. No, I'm not playing. No, I'm not playing on survivor because survive whatever is the difficulty mode that still retains all of the
It's probably hard
mechanics. I
then,
know we
because
lose.
Survivor axes
Yeah,
it.
yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, I'm on hard. And, like there are enemies that are flanking me and everything. I'm not finding it that crazy. Like it's not,
Yeah,
you know, it's not that hard, right? But like, I do feel the enemies are a lot more strategic in how they position and everything. Um, the clickers are very interesting in part one because like I've been hearing if you play on grounded, like even if you just like are sitting behind cover and wait, eventually they will detect you. You know, like it's like that level, and like I'm not finding that with the clickers. I do find that like they are a little bit more aggressive towards me, and I feel like they have a shorter fuse and all that. That could be me just playing for the first time on hard because I've always played Last of Us on normal until this point. You know what
hmm,
I'm saying? Besides grounded, I did for like an hour.
right.
Um, so yeah, like I will say, definitely you can feel the improvements in the AI, but I've seen twice already
Hmm.
where the companion AI runs in front of a fucking enemy and like the enemy doesn't react. And like that, it's like like you crazy because you spent a good chunk of that rebuild from PS5 explaining how yeah that and I don't know what their verbatim words were. If they said hey it's less likely to or whatever, right? But like the intent was for that to be ironed out. It's happened twice in my 5 hours of 5.5 hours of gameplay. Is that per capita less than the original release? I'll never fucking know unless I go back and do that and try to see that. Granted, there's a lot of different permutations that it's a interactive game as a whole, right? So
Yeah.
if it happens, it happens. I'm understanding that like not game is perfect, but like
Hmm.
it's happened twice and it takes me out of it for sure. You know,
For the sake of a listener or a returning player, you said 5 hours of gameplay so far. Location wise, like, are you still in summer? Where are you? Fall?
I'm in the hotel region right now,
Okay,
so
so
I'm
it's like end
probably
of
in like
summer-ish.
yeah. We're
Okay,
still like end of summerish, yeah.
cool.
Because I think next is Tommy's Dam,
Yeah, and
and then I
then
go to the
yeah.
university. Yeah, then I do winter. Yeah.
Um, like you said, you're gonna get more into like the in-depth. I imagine like the thoughts of like why did we need it, like that sort of thing with Peter for future
Yeah,
episodes. But there was a question that you wanted to address from
yeah.
our friend Jack Martin, who wrote into the
I
Kind of
did.
Funny Gamescast, or no, PS I Love You, I forgot. Um, their review of The Last of Us. I think it was Gamescast actually. And I think I forget what he said exactly, but his question was, is there anything worth returning for like is there anything worth picking it up for a returning player who has seen the game already, who knows the game, all that stuff? Or is it simply just like a this is a nice way to replay it? And next time I want to replay it, I'll replay it this way. Like,
Yeah,
where do you fall on that? Because you made it very clear in our group chat. You're like, I want to address
yeah,
that question.
and eh, I just feel like that Gamescast missed one answer that I'm seeing myself say to myself a lot
Okay.
as I'm playing through part one, right? So is this game well okay, damn. Okay. So, all right. If you've never played Last of Us, get this get this version, please. Please get this version. You know, if you see the remaster on the PlayStation Plus collection, which is free by the way, if you
Yeah.
have PlayStation Plus at all, any tiers, and you look at side by side and you don't care, and I get it, money is money, I get it, whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? Then do all that by all means, right? But
Yeah.
I would still at that point recommend you play part one because what I think, and this is a question that this is an aspect of of part one that me and Peter like kind of like we're like, could this be a could could we get this outcome from it? But like we were like, oh, I mean, maybe like we'll see. But no, like it's really something that I think should be highlighted a lot, and that is that this changes the way you read certain character movements and facial animations, like the fidelity of it. I feel like I'm learning more and more about these characters that I've already played through three times beforehand, right?
Yeah.
And the first moment that it got me was when it's that famous shot where right after Tess gets bit, right, and you're overlooking the Capitol building, and it's like a sunrise type of scene. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And they're walking over the building with that plank. You know what I'm saying? There's a thing where like Joel puts it down and goes, "Hey, just don't look down," and then Ellie's like, "Psst, like whatever, like I got this, like this ain't shit, you know." And she continues to walk over that, and then Joel has a moment where he paused, and in the remaster, I don't know if I just kind of just overlooked it. I don't know if I thought he was just tired or I don't know. Like I just never thought too deeply about why he paused in that moment. But it wasn't until part one where I'm like, fuck, he's thinking about Sarah. You know, he's reflecting on Sarah, and that little gesture of like, Ellie like doing that very very small thing, right, is taking him back to his daughter. You know, and that's and then like there are so many instances of that where like I'm like, and yes, I'll say it right now in front of everyone. Yes, I know it sounds pretentious. I know it
So
sounds like I'm being full of it. You know what
I
I'm
no,
saying? Like,
I don't
I
think
get it.
that's how it
I
comes
get it.
across. Because
You
like
know, I
I
get it.
I think that is like why people like these games is because it has that air to it, not pretentious, but just like it is about the like minuscule details. I guess I just think hearing that as somebody who really loves the game, like the original Last of Us, right? And part two, I think is also like an achievement, even if I don't really like it that much. Like I because I am sure like the performances like add extra like nuance to everything, but I guess my only question would be, like in comparison to like that being a selling point over the original, is there like do you feel that it adds to the story in ways that wasn't conveyed before? Because I think in the original game there's plenty of moments where you get that feeling of like Joel is like looking at Ellie but he's talking to Sarah. Like there are moments like that in the original game. So like it's great that there's like nuances and like facial moments and stuff like that like build on that more, but like I think that also comes back to the whole like did we need this sort of thing? Because it's like that sort of like highlight is like yeah, great, and the original game conveyed that like very well, you know.
I and that's where I think we disagree, honestly. Where it's like,
Kevin froze. Oh no. Oh no. Kevin. Sorry, buddy. Texting Kevin real quick. Oh, his power went out. Oh no. Okay. Hmm. This is an interesting thing I didn't plan for. Okay. Well, hey everybody. How's it going? We'll see what's going on here. Um, Shout out to the chat. One second. Um, hey everybody. I texted Kevin. We're gonna see how this rest of the show is gonna shake out. But I do think it's been successful so far. I do think the live show has worked out in our favor, with the exception of the power outage. Um, yeah, I'm glad Kevin's enjoying the game though. I'm glad Kevin's enjoying Last of Us Part One, and many people are. I think he's enjoying it at least. It sounds like he is, but I guess as somebody who, like I said, enjoys the original game, I think the reason I haven't wanted to get Part One is because it's similar to what I was talking about earlier with the distinction between what was great about Last of Us and what's great about something like Demon Souls. I've experienced the story and the not Kevin left the call. I've experienced the story. I've experienced the you know, the greatness of The Last of Us, and I play a lot of old games frequently, and visuals and changes to a game on that front only add so much for my experience. Oh, Kevin, are we back? Yes. I was
Okay.
filling time. I will cut that out for the
I'm. What's
video
up?
version. I was filling time. I'll cut that out on the video or the audio upload. But yeah, we're back.
Okay. I'm gonna keep my cam off.
That's
Is
fine.
that okay, or do you want me to have it
That's
on?
completely fine.
Okay. All right. But okay. Yeah. I'm literally just in my backyard, and I'm just finish my thoughts, and then yeah. Well. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So the last thing that was said that I heard was you said I think that's where we disagree.
Yeah.
Referencing the fact that like through I feel through dialogue and through other moments in the original game, like you understand that he views Ellie the way he views Sarah, and she calls him out for it even. So like,
Yeah.
and then that's where we disagree. So continue.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, just like a bottom line, like I just feel like with part one, I do think that you get more out of the Last of Us story as a whole. You know what I'm saying? And like, I definitely get how like that could be a subjective thing, right? Where hey, like maybe those things you saw in remastered, sure, go ahead. Like, hey, it is what it is, right? Like, I'm not gonna say you're wrong, but like, I just still feel like bottom line, like you do get more out of these performances with the fidelity of it, and that's something that I wasn't sure if I was gonna really see, because that definitely just feel like a fool of yourself, like very like pretentious thing to like see as a whole. But I do think that like they were right on that. Where like I do feel like part one does add to the story as a whole. You know what I'm saying? But bottom line, I think it's easier to say, yeah, go ahead, buy it right now, to someone that loves this game or to like a newcomer. I'd say like if you're like a diehard Last of Us fan and you want to play that again and you're down, I say go and grab it for sure. You know what I'm saying? But if you just don't care about playing it right now that much, it's gonna be on sale, and you can buy it at that price that you're comfortable with, right? For sure. But like, if you're asking me, do I think bottom line like it's worth full price? I think that is really reserved for those that love Last of Us or they want to play it for the first time, for sure. That's what I would say, right? So like overall, like, do I think it meets that value proposition? I think it meets it for certain groups of people, but overall, I think it's a little bit on the no side. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're looking at this, like, objectively speaking, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not but I think I am looped into the I love Last of Us, right? So like, and like, I don't feel that like I overpaid for this, but that's me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's me. But I could easily see someone thinking that they overpaid for this, you know, if they play it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Because like I think obviously like the biggest highlight is that like I know you made a comment of like, oh, like there's a reason why remake isn't in the name, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's completely false, dude. Like this game looks fucking insane, like insane. You know, like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just a fact. Like, if I know you don't own the game, I would just scrub through that 50-minute digital foundry
Yeah,
video.
I watched it. Yeah, I like.
It's ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think because I made that comment before the game's out, like when it was just like.
Yeah,
Um,
and that was before we even. Yeah. So yeah,
like just
yeah, sure.
like when it was just pre-release stuff, because like I do think like now the name remake has a different context to it with Final Fantasy and stuff like that, and Resident Evil, which also doesn't have remake in the name, but like, um, yeah, I think it's a tricky beast with this game specifically because it's like what you're talking about of like the more insight into the performances being such a big selling point is like that's such a big selling point because of what the game's purpose is, which is just it's a story that has solid gameplay, but like the story is the appeal. So like if you're saying like what will elevate that, it is more in-depth look to the original performances. So like it's a weird case to case thing. I think we've talked about this many times, but like when it comes to remakes, reimaginings, remasters, all that stuff, like there's no solid example for what to expect out of any of those things because each game has its own thing. Like if I said that they're gonna remake I don't know what's a big story game. Like if somebody said, "Oh, we're gonna remake Uncharted 1 versus we're gonna remake Bloodborne," right? When you look at Uncharted 1, it's like yeah, you would expect shooting to feel better, but it's mainly like okay, fleshing out those relationships, fleshing out the moments between characters and all that stuff. Where in Bloodborne, if they're remaking it, it's like okay, visual art direction, but mainly like the mechanics of everything. Like how's that being shaken up? Are we adding things? Like I think remake has a different context with everything. So yeah, in the case of The Last of Us, remaking it would I guess entail just like completely overhauling how the original story is conveyed, which is what they did with what they used to tell the story being the cutscenes and visuals. So, like, I get that fully. Like, I fully understand that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and like I'm taking a lot more time on this playthrough than I ever thought because like I'm just looking in every crevice, looking at every corner, and like I'm like, you know, seeing like there was like a ton of work in this. You know what I'm saying? Like bottom line, like that cannot be disputed. You know what I'm saying? Like yo, these environments are straight up like redone, straight the hell up. You know, like it's a lot. It's a lot in there for sure. You know, but then yeah, so that's just where yeah, like, but that's something that we all saw coming. We definitely all saw it in their multiple fucking comparisons of the environments. Like
Yeah.
we definitely get it. You know what I'm saying? But I think as we move away from how the marketing was, I'm doing a whole episode on Road to Part 1. That might be like the finale, honestly, of like how this game was marketed, which I think it was questionable, and I just have a lot of thoughts on that. You know what I'm saying? And like I think that when we get the final game, it's like okay, like I think I have a better like understanding as to why they did what they did here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it is what it is. You know. But I'm definitely still enjoying it. I'm definitely still playing through it. I definitely am gonna beat the game for sure. And yeah, like this does make me want to play part 2 afterwards, but I might wait on that too because there might be a director's cut, next year. So we'll see. But yeah, Last of Us, I'm definitely enjoying it. But I see my main criticisms are just like the gameplay, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't that your main hesitation going into it? It was
It was, yeah,
like everything looks great, but like it's mainly my concern is how it feels. So like
yeah,
definitely an improvement, just not as far as you were hoping, right?
yeah. Definitely an improvement for sure. You know what I'm saying? And like objectively, like it definitely feels better than remaster for sure. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like, hey, like if The Last of Us was only on PS3, right? This would have been a whole different discussion.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
right?
for
It's just hey,
sure.
it is, and I think it makes it even worse. And I bet they're kicking themselves in the butt, like, damn, like we should not have put remastered on the Plus collection. You know,
Hmm.
because that in itself just adds a different wrinkle to the whole discussion. That
Yeah,
like it's yeah, yeah. So
I have one question for you. I was gonna ask you this earlier, but I think that, like this is when everything dropped, so I didn't remember it, but I just remembered. Um, is there a demo for this for the demo tier of Plus?
a trial?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, no, no. There's no game trial. Which honestly, shit, I think they might. I think they should. Fuck. Let people go side by side.
I was gonna say, do you think for somebody who's maybe hasn't played it before, but they're curious and like they're new to the PlayStation ecosystem, you're saying like this is the version to get. Um, do you think just to like see if they would enjoy it, they should load up remastered to like get a feel for it and be like, this is the type of experience I'm getting into? Like, do you think it's a general enough idea if you play like maybe the first 10 minutes of the original or of remaster and be like, oh, I like how this feels. I like the story setup here. I'll stop playing this and then I'll go get the better one. Like, do you think that's a like a dip your toe
Um,
experience that's worth trying for newcomers, or what do you think?
yeah, I would say yeah, right, and yeah, I would say yeah for sure. I think that might be route to go. But yeah, that's just so hard to like say like straight up like yeah like that will sway you in one other way, right? And like I just know like if like someone has the opportunity and the means to get part one and they decide to stick with remastered, I'd be like, damn, bro, you're missing out. Like if you have a PS5 too, like you're. I mean, that's one way to play part one, duh. But like
For
I feel
now,
like
it's
at
going to
that point,
PC.
also on PC, yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah, definitely the PC crowd's gonna love this for sure. But yeah, like I just think, I mean, just in my opinion, like I just think part one looks leaps and bounds like a lot better than remastered. Not to say that remaster is not playable. Played it in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Definitely recognize that hey, feels old, but hey, it's playable. You know what I'm saying? For sure. Like it's not like it's anything crazy, But but yeah, I just think part one is a really it's. I still say end of day after all this, I still say hands down part one is definitely the definitive Last of Us. Also another pain point, and this is something that should this even be a critique? I'm not labeling this as a critique. I just wanted to judge part one for what it has and what it is, right? But man, I wish factions was here, man. I'll tell you so, man. Like the way this game looks, bro, I would have loved to play factions. But 2023, baby. 2023. Waiting for 3 years. 3 years, Christian. I've been waiting for factions, man. 3 years.
You'll definitely be able to look at it next year for sure.
Don't say that, bro. Don't say that, bro. Nah, man. We're gonna get a closed beta. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Beta by
Definitely
my birth.
possible, maybe.
Beta by my birthday. You know what I'm saying? Yes,
That's
sir.
asking for a
Yes,
lot,
sir.
Kevin.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But
Oh man.
I'm sure there will be more to say in the future. Of course, like you said, a couple episodes still in the can for you with Road to Part One, right?
Yeah, yeah. We're probably gonna do like two or three more. This week we're yeah, because I kind of want to. No, I'm definitely not gonna be able to beat it by then. But yeah, we'll have the discussion of like what this is. Definitely this week. And then I want to talk about marketing, and then we got the bets episode as well. So we'll see all that. But yeah, that one's coming to a close here shortly. And then we'll start up Road to Ragnarok in October, probably. You know what I'm saying? So we'll definitely get on that. But yep, so you can follow all of that on PlayStation Source. And yeah, check out the rest of the videos on the channel. They've been performing very well. So shout out to y'all for the support. Appreciate it. Oh, I never said the big video on Gamescast, did I?
No, because that released on one of the off weeks.
Yes. I put out The Last of Us Iceberg, right? Big fan of Iceberg videos. I've talked about it here on Gamescast probably a few times here and there.
Yeah.
But like I became obsessed with it this year. And I didn't find one for like Last of Us that was like really like well done and like really like had a lot of it. There were a lot of Spanish ones that were great, right? But you know, for like the English speaking crowd, I didn't see any like great Last of Us Iceberg videos. So I set out, you know, every big venture of mine, like with Road 2 started with Last of Us. I'm like, what better way if I'm gonna start doing icebergs semi regularly every few months or so, whatever. Let me start with Last of Us. So I did it. It's an hour and I think 12 minutes, right? Grab yourself a meal, grab yourself a little snack. You know what I'm saying? I definitely recommend watching it in chunks. You know what I'm saying? Use that watch later feature on YouTube. It'll save your spot in the video when you hit watch later to watch it later and all that. But yeah, learned a lot of cool stuff in there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of interesting things, a lot of interesting ways that this game could have gone that would have been very problematic. It would definitely not have been great. But yeah, definitely go check it out. And we did a bunch of God of War breakdowns this week. We learned a lot of cool context about Joel as well. That's a cool video. Definitely do recommend that for sure. And yeah, you'll also have a PS5 update video. I hope I can upload that, bro. I'm outside in my backyard, unaware of the power situation. My dad's on it. We'll see. We'll see if I can get it up. We'll see. we'll see. But yeah, check out all that and more on youtube.com/PlayStation Source.
Very nice. Yep. That's it for the show. You can find me Twitter and TikTok at Chun2D2. You can find the show youtube.com/JoyClicks for the live video version every Wednesday. I think probably the time that it's locked into now, unless we change things around. Subject to change for formatting, segments, all that stuff. First try. I think we did all right. Power outage included. So we will have another episode for you next week with more thoughts on more things, including all the presentations going on this week. I will say I will probably be at least for sure reacting to the Marvel Disney one, maybe the Assassin's Creed one, because I'm excited for that, but I don't know if I want to sit through an entire Ubisoft presentation by myself. So stay tuned, youtube.com/JoyClicks for those live stream reactions. And if you want to listen to the show, you can do so on audio services like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, all your favorite podcast providers. Just look up Clicks Gamescast. You'll find it. Rating and reviewing is an easy way to help us out. If you watched on YouTube and you liked it, thumbs up helps there as well. Comments in the description, or if you can watch live, hop in the chat, say some things about some topics. We can work you into the show in the future. And yeah, that is the first episode of Gamescast Live. I forgot at the top of the show, this is episode 117, and I wanted to do a Master Chief voice at the beginning of the show, and I completely forgot to do it, so I guess we're going to have to fucking wait until some other episode number. So.
Oh, shit.
That's it, but thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. Until then, it's pizza time.
It's pizza time.